In 1772, a French doctor encountered a man who seemed to break the laws of human biology. No matter how much he ate, his hunger never stopped. Not after a meal, not after a feast, not even for a moment. And what this man would eventually consume shocked everyone who witnessed it. This is the strange, true story of a hunger that never had an off switch. His name was Tarrare. We don't know his exact birth year, but by the time he showed up in medical records, he was already a teenager and already a mystery. As a boy, he reportedly ate an entire basket of apples meant for 6 people in one sitting. His parents, struggling and confused, eventually sent him away. By his late teens, he was traveling with a group of con artists and street performers, and it was there that Tarrare discovered something useful about his condition. People would pay to watch a teenager eat anything they handed him. He swallowed corks, he swallowed stones, he ate live snakes whole in front of paying crowds, and somehow his body simply absorbed it all. No injury, no complaint, just hunger immediately returning. To 18th century audiences, this was a sideshow. Tarrare was, for a while, just a curiosity to be gawked at, with a stomach that never said enough. Then came the French Revolutionary Army, and Tarrare's strange gift suddenly looked like it might be useful for something more than entertainment. In 1792, France was at war, and soldiers everywhere were underfed. Tarrare enlisted, and almost immediately, his appetite became a military problem. He was given 4 times the normal soldier's ration. Within hours of finishing his food, he'd be found in the camp kitchens, eating scraps meant for the officers' dogs, or going through the trash heaps outside the barracks. Soldiers began hiding their meals from him. He was, by every account, a kind, gentle young man, well liked by his unit, deeply embarrassed by his own hunger. But embarrassment didn't make it go away. A surgeon named Pierre Hubert Percy began documenting Tarrare directly. Percy tested Tarrare under controlled conditions. He fed him a meal meant for 15 grown men, and Tarrare finished it without difficulty, then asked, quite calmly, what else there was to eat. In one documented test, Tarrare was given a live cat. He ate the cat whole, then vomited up only the fur. Everything else, gone. He ate snakes the same way. He once swallowed an eel without chewing it at all. Doctors who examined him noted that his mouth could stretch wide enough to take in objects no human jaw should physically accommodate, and that the skin of his stomach was loose enough to visibly distend after a meal, like a balloon slowly filling with air. And here's where the story takes its sharpest turn, because the military realized something. If this man could eat literally anything, maybe that ability could be put to use. France was at war, and intelligence was valuable. A general approached Tarrare with an unusual request. Could he carry a secret message inside his body, walk it across enemy lines, and retrieve it once he reached the other side? He agreed. Tarrare swallowed the wooden message capsule and walked toward enemy territory, but was captured almost immediately, beaten, and nearly executed as a suspected spy. Enemy soldiers, confused by his behavior, simply let him go. He made his way back to French lines, and the message, remarkably, intact. The military's strange experiment had technically worked. After this, doctors became even more invested in understanding what was happening inside him, because by now, everyone could see that this wasn't a performance anymore. Tarrare himself wanted answers just as badly as the doctors did. He wasn't proud of his condition. He found it humiliating, isolating, and physically exhausting. He once told Percy that he would give anything to simply feel full, even once, even for an hour. This is worth pausing on because it reframes the entire story. Tarrare wasn't a monster, and he wasn't simply a man with an unusually large appetite. He was a quiet, polite, deeply self-conscious young man trapped inside a body that refused to recognize when it had enough. His hunger wasn't a personality trait. It was a malfunction he had no control over, and one that nobody around him, including the best doctors of the era, had a name for. Modern researchers, looking back at Percy's case notes, believe Tarrare may have suffered from a condition now loosely referred to as polyphagia, an extreme, persistent hunger most often linked to abnormalities in the hypothalamus, the part of the brain responsible for telling your body when it's satisfied. In most humans, the hypothalamus runs a quiet, constant negotiation between hunger and fullness, a feedback loop most of us never even notice working. In Tarrare, something in that loop never built correctly in the first place. His body kept signaling hunger long after any reasonable amount of food should have switched that signal off. But even this explanation doesn't fully account for everything Percy documented. Polyphagia explains relentless hunger. It doesn't fully explain swallowing live animals whole and digesting them without apparent harm, or stretching his throat and stomach to dimensions doctors at the time had never seen in a human body. Some modern theories point to a possible thyroid abnormality, dramatically speeding up his metabolism to the point where his body was burning through fuel faster than any normal digestive system. Others suggest a rare combination of conditions working together, something we still don't have a single clean diagnosis for, even with 2.5 centuries of medical progress behind us. And that's the genuinely strange part of this story. We've mapped the human genome, we've performed surgery on living brains, we understand digestion down to the molecular level. And yet, when modern doctors look back at Tarrare's case, the honest answer is still something close to "we're not entirely sure." Tarrare's story doesn't end neatly. As the years went on, his condition worsened. He grew thin despite eating constantly. He developed health problems doctors of the time couldn't treat, and in 1798, weakened and exhausted, he checked himself into a hospital in Versailles. He told the doctors there that he wanted to be examined after he died, that he wanted his condition finally understood, even if it couldn't help him anymore. Shortly after, he passed away, likely from complications related to years of extreme physical strain on a body that had never once been allowed to rest. When doctors performed the examination he'd requested, they found his digestive organs were enlarged far beyond normal proportions. His stomach lining thickened and worn in ways consistent with extreme use. It was the closest thing to an answer Tarrare ever received, and even then, it raised more questions than it resolved. Here's the part of the story that's easy to miss beneath all the strange details. Tarrare wasn't just a medical oddity people whispered about for 2 centuries. He was a young man who spent his entire short life experiencing something the rest of us never have to think about. A body that simply would not let him feel satisfied, no matter what he gave it. We complain about hunger after skipping a single meal. Tarrare lived an entire life where that feeling never once went away. And maybe that's the real reason his case has survived in medical history for over 200 years. Not because of what he ate, but because of what his story quietly reveals about something we all take completely for granted. Somewhere inside your body, right now, a quiet signal is telling you that you've had enough, that you're satisfied, that you can stop. It's so automatic you've probably never once thought about it. Tarrare spent his entire life waiting for a signal that never came.